also just to perhaps share my own personal experience, and I think this is a question that many young people go through. When we were getting married many years ago, and we were insistent that we must have our own home before we can get married, we had to make a choice. If we absolutely wanted a 5-room flat, then we cannot afford to stay very close to our parents because our parents were in mature estates and the flats there were relatively more expensive. But if we absolutely want to stay near to our parents, then we cannot hold on to this idea of we must have a 5-room flat. And in interacting with many young couples, often I think it is the unwillingness to trade off. I think it is necessary at some point for we ourselves to decide what is more important. Is it more important to be near to our parents, or is it more important to have a bigger flat type? And we have to make those decisions according to our own buying ability. At the point that I was getting married, I can tell you very honestly, I could not afford a 5-room flat near my parents' home. So in the end, between my husband and I, we decided that we wanted more space rather than to be so near to our parents. So I lived, in those days, Tampines was still new town, not yet mature estate. So it was Tampines new town, far, far away from Orchard Road. But we were able to afford a bigger flat because it was further away from the city. So I think in today's context, I've seen couples who come to me and say that they must live in Tiong Bahru, because their parents are there. But in Tiong Bahru, they also want a bigger flat type. So that makes it, I think, quite challenging. So perhaps as a way of looking at the issue, it's really to prioritize what makes more sense to us and what's more important. Yeah. But
very, very good point, Josephine. Yeah. And actually, not quite like you, I did own my own flat when I got married. I actually rented a flat, coincidentally in Jurong East with my husband. But my advice is this. Marriage and buying a HT flat are two separate decisions. Marriage, when you find someone that you love, please immediately go and get married. All right? Follow your heart. Investment, buying a HDB flat is a long-term investment. It's a very important investment. Do your sums correctly. I think very often we want things to be perfect. Perfect. New flat, new renovations, new curtains, new spa in the home, new fish tank. Please don't do that, all right? You're just adding on additional burden, expectation. You're burdening yourself needlessly. Get married first. Live on your own for a while because you'll have your whole life to enjoy a new home together. Find the time to find a perfect home where you can afford. And believe me, in the next 20 and 30 or 40 years you're going to get married, you have the opportunity to upgrade to a perfect place in time to come. All right? So I find it very hard if some young couple will come to me and say, I'm getting married in September, please find me a flat in Telok Blangah. I can't do that. We can have a place for you, but we cannot promise you a place in the estate that you want at the price range that you can afford. That will be too hard. That will be too hard. So have a realistic trade-off, like Josephine said, and separate the investment decisions. And usually, like all human beings, when we see market going up, tendency is, I better come in, otherwise I may miss out. I want to join the bandwagon. All right? There's a rush. But if I tell you that the market is going to correct it in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time, will you rush in as well? You probably won't, right? You probably will hold back and say, if that's the case, what if the price of my house, my flat will fall in 3 to 5 years? Or when there's a recession, I have my pay cut by 10, 20%? Or what if I have to change a job for supposed to be better pay, but in the end the boss don't like me and I got to move again? Such things happen, right, in life? So whatever we do, treat the two decisions separately and buy a flat that we can afford. I'm not saying that the market will correct itself by 3 to 5 years, by the way. I'm just saying that the market has a cycle. We all know that. The market always has a cycle, and we have seen from the past there's always a cycle. And ask yourself whether you are buying correctly at the right time of the cycle. That's all I'm saying.